Good evening. It's December 26th, just a day after Christmas, Sunday, 6:21 p.m. Good evening to you guys. Welcome to episode 28, Year-End Picks. Good evening to you, Wawi, and to our listeners. I hope everyone had a great Merry Christmas. And tonight is a very special episode. Now that we have back on our episode and our recording, Dr. Stephen Pamatmat. He's one of our special guests back in episode 6. It's also one of our most listened podcast episode. Good evening to you, Doc.
Good evening. Merry Christmas sa inyo lahat.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
wow.
Stephen.
There. Well, this is your host, Mark Yu.
And Wawi Santos.
And welcome to the Mark Yu and Wawi Show. So a disclosure, this show is made for sharing purposes only and not to be considered investment advice. We record once a week and while we are physical therapists here in the USA with the same passion and interest in researching and investing our hard-earned money. So on this episode, we're just going to take a look back, a year-end look back, and some of our picks for the 2021. So we're going to start off with... so we have several questions. To tackle. So each one of us will give our picks. The first one, we have at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just 6 questions. It starts with your best and worst picks. So for the first question, it's your best and worst CEO pick. You go ahead, Wawi. Who's your best CEO for 2021?
Well, the best and worst is only one person.
Best and worst.
Yeah, best and worst.
Okay.
Elon Musk. He's the best.
Elon Musk. So
Yeah.
why did you select Elon Musk as not only the best but also the worst?
Well, he is the best because he was able to execute a lot of his plans for Tesla, and now Tesla is the leader in EV technology. And it's the leading company right now when it comes to that. He is also the worst because of his, infamous tweets that sometimes put off some people.
Okay, like what?
Irritate the SEC.
Right.
I think he is, not your typical CEO because of that, right?
Yeah.
He speaks his mind and he has a lot of following. I think 22 million on Twitter only, but it may be growing.
Yeah,
So
67.7 million followers.
Oh, so triple that what I just said.
A lot of
So
people following him.
His followers are growing.
Right.
So I think right now he's being questioned for his saying that he stays in a $50,000 home, which
Right.
is like a modular home, but somebody is saying now that he is staying in a big mansion right now in Austin.
Right. I saw that report, yes.
If we disregard that, I think he's very good at his business, but his publicity is what makes him worse.
Right. I got it. Okay. How about you, Doc? Who's your best and worst CEO pick?
Well, personally, I don't follow the CEOs because I'm not really doing much research on individual stocks. As you know,
Right.
I'm more of an advocate of index fund investing.
Right.
However, looking at your list of the top 5, can you go back to that list? Personally, I think I'll admire Jeff Bezos because
Jeff
the
Bezos,
Amazon
Okay.
as the best CEO because he transformed Amazon from online book sale into like a $1 trillion company.
Totally, yeah.
And well diversified, not only in technology, consumer. So that's what I like with Amazon. Okay, they're able to evolve and adapt to the changing times of the business.
Right.
Okay, so I would say he's the best.
Right. And
Okay.
plus this year he also launched his own, well, it's not part of Amazon, but he has this little company called Blue Origin that sent some people up into space as well.
Yes. So,
Mhm.
I look at a company that is diversified.
Right.
Okay.
Mhm.
There's like vision for
Mhm.
the future. So that's why I chose Jeff Bezos. Elon Musk is just a controversial figure.
Mhm.
But I don't follow him. I
Right.
don't even own a Tesla stock individually. But I'm
Right.
sure with the index fund, since
Yes.
Tesla joined the S&P 500, so by
Definitely. Yeah.
default, I own some stocks or shares
Yes.
of Tesla.
Indirectly.
Yeah,
So
indirectly.
you'll
So,
eventually end up with some, yeah. Mhm.
and obviously the second pick for me would be Warren Buffett. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's like I'm sure no, you won't get mistaken with Warren Buffett's choice.
Right. Berkshire Hathaway founder, CEO, definitely like one of the great value investors, if not the best value investor of all time, Warren
Exactly.
Buffett. Now he's
Yeah.
ranking at 10th, believe it or not. Wow, 107 billion. But
Yeah.
still, at one point, he was like one of the richest, like top. Right now, he's still one of the richest. Nothing to take away from that. 107 billion is no easy feat. Yeah.
Yes.
And how about your worst CEO pick, if any, Doc?
Okay. Uh I guess the worst CEO would be the previous CEO of GE or General Electric.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
100-year company, then transport to like out of the Dow 30 Jones company.
Yes, it got delisted
You
for
got
some
the
reason.
listed from so
Mhm.
it because you think about the CEO would be the obviously the leader of the company that
Mhm.
can keep the company uh, very profitable. But if the
Right.
company in the edge of being bankrupt,
Mhm.
there's something wrong with the leader of that company.
Usually, yes.
Yeah,
Well,
so
that's a mhm.
that's the reason choosing the GE
Great. Well,
CEO.
that's a good pick, Doc. When it comes to me, my best pick obviously resonates with Huawei. It's Elon Musk. Obviously, for all sorts of reason. Number one, he's the richest man on Earth at 274 billion. As we are looking at the Bloomberg Billionaire Index, he transformed Tesla. Uh, Not only being the richest man on Earth, he was able to also with his Twitter as his mouthpiece, able to address issues in politics, not only in politics, all all other sorts like cryptocurrencies, dabble into that, and also from politics, he's also an advocate for space travel and all that. So this guy has it all. Um, mm, I mean, he's been selling some shares, but I mean, you can't take that away as a discount for being like really an exemplary or exceptional CEO founder for this year. Um, like back in September, aside from both the two pioneers of space travel, who's the first one? British. He's a Virgin. What's his Richard Branson. Aside from Richard Branson and Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin, SpaceX also launched 4 private citizens to space on September 2021, kicking off the first ever crewed mission to orbit without any professional astronauts on board. So Elon Musk, I mean, he's just everywhere. Aside from trying to provide electrical vehicles for everyone, and despite that, he has a quite unique Twitter interface. He usually posts stuff. Just the other day, he was kind of like answering back to one of the distinguished politicians. What's her name? Elizabeth Warren, trying to one Elizabeth Warren called him a freeloader and all that, and he answered back like he's about to be the only person who would be paying the government plenty of money, like around roughly $11 billion in the history ever. So definitely he doesn't like he's a free thinker. He speaks his mind freely, like what we said. So my worst pick again, my worst CEO would be this guy, Trevor Milton of Nikola. Because back in last year, they came out with an ad, truck, supposedly driverless truck, EV truck driving by itself, but it was a fake video where they had the truck actually going downhill and started recording the video, pretending it was like running on its own electric vehicle power. So he was finally filed a case, I think September or October this year. So it's kind of like unfortunate, like probably because of trying to impress all of his investors, he ended up committing this kind of like not so good of a transition from being one of the elite Wall Street elites, now being filed cases one after the other, and in face of possible imprisonment. So Nikola shares, as a result, since the start of the year, is down 31%, and a year, same period last year, it's down 32%. So definitely didn't make any money for its investors. Nikola, that's Nikola, another EV company, way different from Tesla. But yeah, so that's my worst pick. So going on to our next question, what's your best and worst company, Wowie?
Oh, best and worst company? Well,
2021.
Well, that would be Tesla, of course. Tesla would be my best company because of being the leader in advancing the acceleration of EV adoption, which is the ultimate goal is to address the climate change that we're experiencing. So I think without Tesla, there would not be this type of innovation, that this mass innovation that is much needed for addressing the
you mean other car companies trying to build their own EV vehicles or e-vehicles?
Yeah, I think Tesla has pushed the limit of mass production when it comes to EV. They designed these batteries that were not available before, and the technology when it comes to the motors, and they didn't do so good on their like the car bodies and frames, but I think they're now addressing that issue, so they're gonna continue to evolve. When it comes to the worst company, that would be a few years ago, I invested in a Chinese company called Luckin, which is supposed to be
Luckin Coffee. Yes, I remember.
Yeah. So you remember that. Well, they cook their books. So that's one thing that, you really don't want in a company, is for a company to lie about their financial statement. And I think that's pretty bad for a company that was showing a lot of promise, but then unfortunately they lied to their investors.
Yeah, definitely deceptive.
Yeah, it was a deceptive practice, and that's also one reason that there's a lot of scrutiny with regards to Chinese companies right now, and those companies from China trying to get into IPO.
Right. All right. Thanks for those picks, Wowie. And going next, Doc, what's your best and worst company for 2021?
I think I will still choose Apple as the best company.
Best company, yes.
Wait a minute. I guess because it's a well-diversified company, just like one of my criteria. Okay. And this is the only few individual stocks I own. But this was way back 10, 15 years ago when I owned Apple stock and kept it forever. Because not only it evolved, but it touches the whole world. Like, everyone has an iPhone. Even
Definitely,
your driver. Yes. So their market share is like worldwide. And that's what I like with a certain company.
Mhm.
Okay, and then their products, it's also diversified, not just like iPhone, iWatch.
Mhm.
So revisionary din siya since the beginning of their I mean they've been, so this is a company that I could see long term that
Mhm.
will just continue to evolve and
Right.
be profitable. Okay.
And right now, I think they're aside from losing some key engineers for, I think they're planning to launch their own car. You know, eventually they're probably gonna come up with one because
Yeah,
that's their
because
next
even the
project.
competition is just
Mhm.
I think even Amazon, they're trying their model, like trying to be their product like within their own family. Like if
Right.
you own a certain product, then you um, in a way integrate other devices within that
Mm-hmm. That's
platform, what
true.
they say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And Apple's been like a, I would say, when if you own an Apple device,
Mm-hmm.
they were able to uh, integrate your other, not only the internet. So
Right.
that's what that's
Yeah.
the reason I think Apple for me would be one of the best company.
I think that's a really good pick as well, Doc. Because well, like you said, me personally, I initially just wanted like, you know, a MacBook, a really nice laptop that I could use just for browsing and reading stuff. But eventually, I ended up buying myself a Beats,
Yes.
something to wear, and eventually buying me another iPad for something to watch. Take everywhere I go with its quality. Because, I mean, in terms of product quality, I don't think anybody has it better than Apple, except for TVs. I'm still a Samsung Samsung guy for TVs.
Yeah.
But
You-
yeah, I understand definitely what you have said about Apple products and being diversified. Now people are buying its headset. What else? They come up with that thing, that small thing that you can attach to other bags or whatever stuff you have, so that you can track it when
Even
you're
the recharger, you have to be compatible with their product. Like
right.
you have to,
Totally,
so
it's like a
so you,
whole ecosystem.
yeah,
They
you'll
have
be
its
hooked with them. So
totally. And now the software, once you use their iPhone, you have to go through their Apple software, Apple App Store, that you can, buy stuff and buy apps.
yeah, exactly. And so
Mhm.
so that's
So
my pick for
for the best
for
company.
the best company.
All right. So what's your worst company, if ever, if there's one?
Oh, I don't know, because just like I said, I don't own individual stock. So
Right.
um maybe I would say AT&T. Okay.
AT&T. Uh-huh.
Yeah, because or an Exxon, they've been stagnant forever.
Right. Yes.
So but I don't own them individually. So but
Mhm.
just like what I'm reading, okay,
Right.
I look at the maximum stock price of AT&T. I don't know. I'm sure it's just
Yeah, it's been
it's
down,
just
way down.
stagnant. Yes.
Hmm.
So not just because of their dividends. So I'm sure there are a number of them own AT&T just because of their dividends.
Right.
But the price appreciation is just I don't. It's not.
Horrendous.
There's no growth.
It's
Yeah.
flat.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Uh-huh.
kumbaga sa EKG, you look like a VFib right there.
VFib 150, 200, danger, critical. But yeah,
Yes.
like you said, Doc, I'm looking now at its chart, AT&T. It's actually giving a dividend yield of 8%. But like what you
Yes.
said, its stock price has gone nowhere.
Yeah.
Since 2009, 2009 it was hovering at $24.88. Right now it's $24.87. 11, 10 years. No, 12 years.
The reason
Wow.
is, so I mean they tried different acquisitions. I mean
Yeah.
it's just I mean they're the way they analyze their acquisition, they tried to evolve to like I think they even bought Turner.
Yes, Time Warner.
and Time Warner.
Yes,
They bought the satellite dish. So
Dish TV, I think. I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah.
ExxonMobil would be better than AT&T, I would say, but the problem with ExxonMobil is like it's just the oil industry is
Mhm.
just down. But
Yeah. I mean, its share price right now at $61. It's equivalent to what it was back in 2006.
yeah, I remember they're like 100 plus price.
It
I don't know.
was, yeah, it was at one point back in 2014 during
Yeah,
100. I think it was when the oil barrels were priced at over $100 a
yes,
share. Dividend
yeah,
wise, it's 5.77%, which is quite okay. I'd
yeah.
say a little bit higher than. Mhm.
Mm.
Not bad picks at all, Doc. So for me, for me, I would go back to, Tesla's not my pick, but I'm just gonna go back to Huawei's pick Tesla. For since the start of the year, this stock is a monster. It's
Mm.
up 46%. Wow.
Mm.
Well, for my pick, my best company, well, it's quite unfair, but I have like numerous. Like I have three. I have
Okay.
Pfizer, Merck, and Moderna.
Oh,
Bas-
okay.
Basically, it's nothing to do with their share price. I don't have any investments in any of these. It's just that for me, I guess all of these three, if not for them, we don't have the vaccines or, without their scientists. So
Mm.
in my opinion, I think these are like well-deserved companies that deserve praising, at least for saving saving a lot of people from the dreaded pandemic.
Yeah, I
Nonetheless,
agree. Without Pfizer, BioNTech,
right.
Moderna,
Oh yeah, BioNTech. I think BioNTech is also listed in the stock market, right? But in Europe somewhere.
Europe and Germany. Yeah,
Mhm.
without them, I think the COVID-19 problem would have been you know
Oh yeah, definitely.
bad.
Yeah, BioNTech is in Germany. You're right. So they have a stock ADR. Holy, it more than doubled, 200% since the start of the year. Man, I
Yeah.
wonder who's been keeping an eye on that. But yeah, Moderna is also 100 up, almost double, and more than double, 123%.
Well,
Pfizer.
Steve, I
Uh-huh.
got a question for Stephen
Mhm.
regarding Pfizer's COVID pill. What do you think about that?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, it's a good potential because it be more acceptable,
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
but remain to be seen.
Right. I think
Yeah,
FDA just passed it, right?
yeah. If they, yeah. So I
FDA.
guess it's more of like the Tamiflu that we use as a
Uh-huh.
pill for
Oh,
treatment of flu. So I
gotcha.
think that's their rationale of making a pill
Right.
against COVID.
So it's Pfizer back on Thursday, I think, and then Friday, Christmas Eve, they passed Merck, I think, for the
Okay.
COVID pill as well. So both companies
Yeah.
are now providing. I mean, once they are able to provide, of course, we're
So
gonna
I
see
guess if you have
prices. Mhm.
if you own Pfizer, I mean that's a good pick that as an individual stocks I could own
Right.
long term. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Yeah.
And not only because of the vaccines and the pill. I mean, Pfizer has a lot of mm, medications on its
Most
inventory.
famous the Viagra.
Viagra, yeah, I was gonna
That was
say.
their last hit.
Yeah, they have billions and billions. They're making like plenty of cash just selling all these medications. Yeah, my worst pick obviously is Alibaba. This sunk my my investment or my
Ah.
portfolio quite pretty bad. I lost more than half of my investment on this company. Nonetheless, like when I started buying it, it was already down. I was thinking, man, this is undervalued. It's generating a lot of profits, revenue for its investors. Like for example, I even pulled this financial from Seeking Alpha. Uh, like for June of this year, they made like 31.9 dollars in million USD. So $31.9 billion in revenue for, let's see, its profits would be net income. It generated $7 billion in profit compared to last year's 4.3. So they're making money, but still their stock price is going down. It's nonetheless like a disappointment, because I was expecting for its stock to at least recover at some point, but it's, as you can see in this image, it's just forever going down. It will capture some support, but it'll just keep going down. So I don't know when it's gonna end, because just a couple weeks ago, some companies are being delisted now from the stock exchange, preventing U.S. investors, American investors, to put some investment on the company, such as DD, which is what would be considered Uber of China. So it's quite a tricky landscape. I mean, it's very hard to keep holding the stock anymore. I might just consider selling it before year ends to collect some tax write
Tax.
off. Yeah, it's just quite like a disappointment in reality. There's nothing short of that. So I guess we're gonna go on to our next question. Your best and worst politician. Wowie, you go ahead. Best politician.
Oh, yeah, I think they're all best and worst.
Mm-hmm.
I would say Obama for me
Mm-hmm.
was best politician because just the symbolism of having a black president in the United States. I think that just marked a change, you
Mm-hmm.
know, just a demarcation of time that things are changing. And
But
I
for
think
2021,
for 2021,
right?
oh, well, I think they're all just, you know, doing their roles. I think
Mm-hmm.
they all can be best and worst. They're just doing their job and
Right.
they're playing roles.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they're doing what's best for their parties, and I think that's just what politicians do. Um, I think in the whole scheme of things, it's
Mm-hmm.
just a big theater that they're all playing a role in. So I
Right.
think they're all doing a good job playing their roles, right?
Right.
So I really can't say who. All I can say is, that um, it's just hard to tell who's gonna like make make the change, right?
Right. It's just
Uh,
definitely tricky. Uh-huh.
makes the best change. I would say the worst politician for me right now would be Manchin, just
Mm-hmm.
because I me, I like some progress. I like some changes to address current problems that global problems that we have, like climate change. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I think with the infrastructure bill, I think the Build Back Better bill, I think we can make a lot of these changes. But I know there's some negatives to that too.
Mm-hmm.
But in the whole scheme of things, I think I think it would be historical to pass it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
looking at the United States as the leader globally, I think the leader of the planet should do what's right. But that's my opinion.
Right. How about you, Doc? Throwing the question at you. Your best and worst politician for 2021.
Well, politics not really my cup of tea because I agree with Warwick. Politicians are just, for me, like actors or actors.
Mm-hmm.
I have to separate my views between politician and government. I would rather have. I look at this. Politics should. I would say. I'm more following what the government could offer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The reason is this: all of us are paying taxes.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
So my mentality is more the taxes is the money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever's, because the politician, they come and go. Whoever in their seat, in their Congress,
Mm-hmm.
uh so in terms of, for me, evaluating a politician, it depends on what the government could offer to their citizens, because that's the role of the government, is to serve the people.
Exactly.
Okay. We are the in a way supposed to be, the people are paying their taxes, and the government should provide the services that we would like for our tax money. Okay.
True.
And so how the government prioritize spending our tax money dollars is the one I will evaluate if that specific government is good or worse. Okay. So it's a collective one. It's not just an individual politician. Okay. You need to revolutionize something that will be good for all the people, not just for Republicans, not just for independent, not just for Democrats. Okay. So that's how I see politics, is to see what will be the role of the government and how are they serving their role as a government for the people.
Right.
Okay.
It sounds plain and simple, as you've said, Doc,
Yeah,
but I think it kind of resonates, for sure.
Yeah, and that's why I would agree with Wawi. The only thing that of all politicians that gave me like an impression was Obama. Okay, even though it was been long time ago that he was the president, but he achieved something that served the people, which is the Obamacare. Okay, as a physician, my heart is so close to healthcare. Okay, because I remember before the Obamacare, people will just lose their health insurance because they have their underlying disease.
Right.
Yeah, for me, it would be kidney disease. Patients will lose their insurance when they found out they have kidney failure. And then, but the problem is you still have to see the patient in the ER because of those federal laws that patients without insurance, you have to see them. But then the problem is you need preventive medicine. You don't want patients in the ER when they're already so sick, they're not able to treat their diabetes, blood pressure, hypertension as an outpatient so that they can avoid kidney failure or kidney disease. But they cannot go to a physician because they don't have insurance. Okay. So then now, pandemic, another healthcare issue. Okay. Sometimes it's so logical to have preventive measures to avoid spreading this virus. Okay. Simple that instead of encouraging, I would say, there's no question, you don't have to mandate, but then promote what the vaccination could offer to your people. But instead, politicians will prioritize what they say rights of the people. But then the same politicians are the first in line to get the vaccination.
Right.
You see? And even the ex-president Trump, he got the booster shot and even announced that to his followers, but then had a bad reaction from those people. They booed him. You see? So it's just unfortunate. Like the current politicians, they're just serving their own. I would say they're more care about getting the votes, not getting the patients to be, or getting the people to be healthy.
Like a short-term outlook instead of the long-term.
Yes, and even just the masking become a debate. vaccination became a debate. So it should not be, because Republican, Democrats, both can get this COVID infection.
Totally, yeah.
And
Everybody
now
is exposed.
even people are now doubting science, which is unbelievable. Like me as a physician, usually I tried myself to spend few minutes trying to explain the vaccine to my patients, but it's unfortunate they have this ideology that would rather follow an ideology rather than
Right.
the health. I guess just like you're trying to preach them stop smoking to prevent cancer. So the same thing about vaccine. So that's one thing.
True.
Then next is January 6th is coming up. For me, democracy is I would say very important for everyone, because we look at I'm an immigrant. I came from the Philippines, and we fought the people power to remove the dictator. Okay. And we look up to the United States because of democracy, like a peaceful transition of one government to another government. Witnessing that event, in a way, the sanctity of democracy was broken. We look up to the United States as the father of democracy. So now I don't know what is politics now, okay?
Right.
But hopefully, whoever's in the government, we just have to do their role is to serve the people.
Yeah. Watching what happened back then, January 6th, when demonstrators were able to climb in and push their way inside one of the supposedly secured places in the world, and watching some government officials ducking their heads under the desk, with FBI agents everywhere. That's definitely a scary time. I agree with you, Doc.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a sacred moment. It's like you're attending a mass and someone went inside your mosque or your church, tried to terrorize those people,
right,
that hearing a mass or something. So it's just unfortunate.
Right.
And unfortunately, a number of politicians, I don't know, they still trying to protect their own, I would say, their personal interest rather than the interest of the democracy, the sanctity of democracy.
Right.
Okay. Because for us, we were like witness of dictatorship during, and until now, I think the Philippine government and election is coming up.
Oh yeah, next year.
Next year, I could not believe that another Marcos may become a president.
Oh.
I never been in politics. I don't promote anyone. It's just for me, history just track me back, and so.
Yeah.
Well, we just have to pray that
true.
It will be a peaceful transition.
Exactly.
We already witnessed a number of coup d'etat in the Philippines, so hopefully it won't happen again.
Hopefully it'll be all changing for the better.
Yeah.
Forward. Yeah. Going into my pick with that in mind, I guess I'm gonna go against the grain, since while we picked Joe Manchin as his worst politician, I'd select him as my best politician, just because he stood out among the bunch. Like, he's a Democrat. He's from West Virginia, a Democrat, a blue state. He's the only one who stood up against Build Back Better bill for some reason. But looking at his history, he's been widely opposed to the bill just because it could raise inflation even further. Months ago, I think couple months ago, he was already making a stand that if they're gonna push it like this as it is, then he's gonna stand up and not be for the bill. I think he was raising the instance that for the matter of fact that it was around $6 billion, and now, but to some success, it's been trimmed at least to a lot less than that, like less than half. I think it's hovering around $1.5 trillion or whatever the value is. At least it's not that incredibly high, which would definitely, as a result, would probably inflect on further inflation moving forward. So, yeah, he's quite a person to contend with. He's like the guy who's the last man standing, in terms of like preventing the U.S. on overspending itself one more time and raising its debt limit to crazy different levels. At this point in time, I think we're at hovering around 248% debt to income, something like that. Overly indebted country. So quite a figure to to be on contrary side, compared in contrary to his peers there in politics. The worst politician, I guess. Let me see. What do I? Oh, I guess it's well, this is the vice president, the current vice president, Harris. She now has the lowest ever rating since vice president ratings were ever published at 28%. She was I guess what do you call that? Designated to be the czar or of the border, but she failed to probably show up or even lead the crisis that's ongoing, and aside from that, she didn't make any appearances at the border. Well, she did up there in El Paso, but where I'm currently living in here in McAllen, it's been left and right being pulled over. The illegal immigrants being pulled over. It's just a bad case of immigration action happening down here. Okay, well, I guess we're gonna go proceed on to our next segment. This segment, this question is your best and worst crypto. So I honestly haven't dabbled into cryptocurrency at this point in time, but I have a few friends that have been quite making a killing on this investment vehicle, cryptocurrency, and now it's somewhat related to NFTs. So I'm quite like not so experienced, but Wari, do you have any best or worst cryptocurrency for 2021?
Well, they're all good. You know me, I'm a crypto fan. Anyway, the happiest crypto would be Shiba Inu.
The dog. Oh, Shiba Inu. Yeah, the one that Elon Musk is always tweeting about.
Oh no, that would be the next happiest coin. That would be Dogecoin.
Dogecoin. Oh yeah. So Shiba Inu is not Doji. Shoot, I'm confused now.
So, as for market cap, I think I just read that Bitcoin is number one, followed by Trump, followed by Doge. But I would say playing aside, I mean, this is play money right now. What we don't know is what they're gonna develop in the future. But what I would say would be the best would be Ethereum, because it doesn't use a lot of energy, and they're already, businesses are already adopting it. So there's a lot of unknowns, but what I know is that people are using it right now for securing transactions and making the transfer of so-called currency faster and cheaper.
But the thing, my question here is why when you buy these coins and you sell them on gains, do you get taxed more, right? Because I think government is trying to tax more of people who are investing or dabbling into cryptos.
I think in the United States, you do end up getting penalized more
Penalized, okay.
because of the fees you have to pay on the exchanges.
Right,
But early adopters are the winners here.
right. Okay.
I don't know if that's gonna change,
Mhm.
but let me just restart my car.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
But there's some regulations that are coming out. I don't know. We have some pro cryptocurrency politicians out there
Mhm.
that try to educate people on what's the use of this cryptocurrency.
Yep.
But as far as the best one, I think it's Ethereum because it started the proof of uh stake instead of proof of work. It doesn't use a
Mhm.
lot of energy,
It's more
and it
of
makes a lot of things, smart contracts, decentralized finance possible.
so it's more of being at least economic or eco-friendly, right?
It's
So
eco-friendly. You can say it's eco-friendly.
yeah, I'm looking at the ones you said earlier, Doji and Shiba. They're 12 and 13 in terms of market capitalizations. Doji coin now valued at thousands, millions, 25.1 billion. Shiba Inu is valued at 20.8 billion. Wow. So these are more expensive than other like established companies out there in terms of market caps.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have
Thanks for
any? Mhm.
so a lot of people are taking chances on it.
Right.
If you play, it's good. It's good to play. In
Right.
my
How about you, Doc? Do you have any crypto picks or have you dabbled into this space?
No.
Definitely
For
not,
me,
right?
it's just more of an entertainment, but then
Yeah,
that's my personal. And I don't gamble, so
right. Well, it's important for listeners who are trying to dabble into cryptos. There's one thing to keep in mind if you're gonna or you're gonna be start investing into cryptos. Like for one, it's just a new space. People are excited. People are ready to dabble in, but there entails a lot of risk as a result. So not only Dogecoin is 20 billion worth, but what is its support? Why is it being valued as such? If only being at one point, because I was trying to pull Doji's stock price, or not price, but currency price, if I can pull it up. But if I'm not mistaken, now it's at 19 cents. But at one point, I think it was hovering around 70 cents per coin. Yeah, it shot up to 60 cents back in May. So if you bought some back then, you would have lost more than 70%, or about two-thirds of your investment. If you invested $10,000 on Dogecoin, you would now be ending up with $3,000. You lost $7,000 as a result. So definitely not for the faint heart or for those who are looking for like a long-term investment for sure. But you can probably try. There's no harm in trying, but maybe just like Huawei and Doc said, invest with your play money in these type of things. So my next question, we're almost done. I guess your best and worst TV show or debut. Well, Huawei, you go ahead.
well, I don't watch any TV shows. I just watch a lot of streaming movies
Uh-huh.
and
What about
podcasts.
movie? Yeah, so a movie. If
Oh
that's
well,
the case.
I just watched Spider-Man. That was good.
Spider-Man, the last one, Far From Home.
Well, the newest one.
Right.
That's a treat.
No
You
Way
get
Home. No Way Home. Sorry.
home. You get the
Yeah.
value. That's a value movie right there. So
okay.
Wow.
So something to think about. I heard good reviews of this Spider-Man movie. Yeah.
Looks like it. How about you, Doc? Any best debut or season or show?
Really have no time to watch.
Right.
So TV show, the uh I usually like this CSI.
Uh-huh.
Before I also watched Billions.
Oh,
That
billions.
yeah, I think it's Netflix or show
Right.
or
I've never gotten the chance to check it out, but definitely like
yeah,
the name
but
itself.
the one
Wow.
I really liked was the Queen's Gambit Decline.
Uh-huh.
I'm a chess avid, so
Oh, okay. This is on Netflix, right? Mhm.
Netflix,
I'm gonna
yes.
check it out for sure because that caught my attention there. Anything to do with chess. It kind of reminds me of the documentary with Google kind of DeepMind product. It's called Alpha something Go. It defeated the real live player, just a
Oh,
computer
okay.
versus a person. And for the first time, an algorithm or a computer beat an actual person in that game. Yeah, going back to Huawei's pick, Spider-Man No Way Home looks like this was just published 8 hours ago,
Yeah.
December 26th.
Broke 1
Becomes,
billion.
yeah, oh my gosh, first pandemic era film to break $1 billion at global box office. So probably something to keep an eye on. Like
Yeah,
this is a co-production between Sony and none other than Disney
Disney.
with Marvel Studios probably.
And
1.05 billion. Dang. A lot of money. A lot of money. For me, my pick for the best show, I guess, is the HBO Succession.
Okay.
It just ended last week with its final episode for season 3. This is just a story about a family which is led by Roy Logan, who's like the patriarch, and along with it, his kids. Like a lot of behind the scenes of what could be actually happening in like the upper class or the elites. Some say that this is a reflection of the Murdochs, the ones who own News Corporation, which owns a lot of different media channels around the world, like Fox, like Wall Street Journal. Like these are top of the top guns, like billionaires, and there's always rivalry and all sorts of things. If you go to hbo.com/succession, I'm not like being sponsored for this, but interestingly, I was just trying to look for a nice picture to present to our episode, but it looks like the first episode is actually watchable and for free for an hour. Each episode is usually an hour. Um, there are some that say that it's a lot of like gestures and mannerisms and like words. Sometimes action speaks louder than words, and you're gonna be able to see how these actors really portray very well the different types of things that are very entertaining to watch, not just to listen or consume. So yeah, um just a brief chart on IPOs this year. Have you guys invested in any IPOs?
Now.
No, me likewise. So since the start of the IPO, looks like the best ever performing IPO is Digital World Acquisition Corp. Wow, since IPO it's up 511%, followed by Hudi. I don't know what this is. It looks like a Chinese company, Huadi International, nearly threefolds. Zim, Esports Technology, Joel Global, Regencell Bioscience. So Roblox is even here. Roblox is up 128%. Affirm Holdings up 106%. So I guess Digital World Acquisition, that rings a bell because this is a partnership that Trump Media Group partnered with. So it looks like they're making some good returns at this point in time. Not an investment advice, but pretty much interesting. But yeah, definitely I didn't dabble into any of
under your
IPO.
list, yeah, under your list, I got Zim.
Oh,
I
Zim.
did buy, yeah, last year.
Uh-huh. All right. So well, I guess on to our last question for the group. Uh, what is your best quote to go by this year, 2021? Wawi, let's start with you.
Oh well, what do you call this? Well, always save for the rainy day.
Mhm.
For a rainy day. That's
Right.
simple.
I totally agree. How about you, Doc? Best
uh,
quote to go by for 2021.
I would say simple investing is a long-term profit.
Mhm. Simple investing. I guess that's, yeah. It's always easy to, go ahead and dabble into different techniques or, ways or formulas to beat the market. But definitely, yeah, simple investing comes into mind. For example, like being dissuaded to other, like, for example, hitting on cryptocurrencies again, At one point you're way up there and next day you're crashing down. So if you just stick to the overall average investing, like what Doc has been, encouraging other people to do to get their exposure and prepare for retirement, like in index investing. If you guys haven't heard yet, you can go back to our episode 6. That's when me and Wawi had the Dr. Stephen as our special guest, and he discussed the returns of just basically following a simple drill and investing your hard-earned money in index funds, and will generate returns over the long term. So I guess that definitely rings a bell, Doc.
Yes, yeah.
And for me, best quote, mine is, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So for me, this is a really important quote that I go by every now and then whenever, I doubt my decisions and choices about picking the right stocks or investment. For example, Alibaba, but there are other things that happen along the way. It's not just losing money on Alibaba, but you know, gaining some more and even more gains from sticking to what I have had before, like Apple. So sticking to that, it's not like religiously I always put money into it like monthly, but every at least 3 or 4 months I buy a little bit of Apple, just trying to cost average, kind of like what Dr. Stephen is advocating for in terms of index investing. But in my case, it's more of me sticking with the company that I really have a belief in and just buying it, and over the course of time. So yeah, I guess well, Wawi and Doc, Stephen Pamatmat, I really appreciate you joining us this evening, even though it's
Thank you
just
for
a
having
day
us. Yeah.
after after a day of celebrating Christmas. I appreciate your time. And listeners, I guess that does it for this episode of Mark Yu and Wowie Show. If you have any questions, just send it over to markyuwowieshow@gmail.com. And remember, build that emergency savings and invest the rest for an abundant retirement. Again, this is Mark Yu signing out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.